For joining us tonight. We are going to be doing a live with Cape Town Tigers assistant coach, Mr. Vincent Ntunja. We're going to get started in the next couple of minutes. Vince, hi, thank you for joining us. Vince, can you hear me? Okay, looks like Vince is having a little bit of connectivity issues. I'm going to give it a second for him to be able to get on. Vincent? All right, I'm going to try and get Vince back on in a sec. Oh, that's boring. Okay, I'm just trying to get Vince back on this live in a second. He should be joining us in a sec. Vince? Hi, I can see your message, Vince. Okay, it just seems like he's having some connectivity issues, but we're going to try again. Hi, Vince, can you hear me? Vince?
Hi, Boomy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you. There we go. I can see you now.
All right, let me try with my headphones off. Can you see me now?
I can see you.
Can you hear? Can you see anything? Nothing?
I can. I can hear and see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
All
We
right.
appreciate your
Can you hear
time.
me without? Can you hear me without the headphones on?
I can.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about the noise. I'm actually at the Tanzanian restaurant in town, so I just thought let me just before I head to training, just find a spot where I could just connect, so that I could brace my interview with you guys. And thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. So, Vince, just to give us some background, what is your role with the Cape Town Tigers?
Just repeat that quickly for me.
What is your role with the Cape Town Tigers?
My role within the Cape Town Tigers, well, it's that of an assistant coach, um, but it goes beyond that because I mean we have so much to do as a new club, in terms of just trying to put systems into place. So, I mean, I would like to believe, despite being a basketball player, I also have a different career path that I've followed and just my expertise in just knowing certain things that I just try to bring into the organization. But my title is that of an assistant coach, but it goes beyond that.
All right. So you talked a little bit about like having expertise and those expertise that you bring to the table. For you, what do you feel like, really you embrace the most about that?
Just speak a little bit louder for me every time. You just give me your questions, please, so that I could respond accordingly.
Do you want to try and put your headphones on?
My headphones. I'm not sure if I'm connecting when I put my headphones, but I'll try that option as well.
Okay.
But I just hope people listening.
All right, I can hear you. You just have to move the camera down a little bit. Vince? There we go.
There's no sound coming out on my headphone. So I'll try to do my utmost best. I'll do my utmost best, yes.
It's fine. So I'm going to move on to the next question for you, which was, we saw Caddy traveled with the team to Egypt. He seems to be a new member of the team. What's his role?
Kev is not a new member of the team. He's more or less like a family, like anyone else who supports basketball. He traveled with the team barely on the base of, he just is a lover of the game. He's a brother. He asked in so many ways on what ways can he come on board and just be part of the team. And as someone who became transparent and asked us what we can do, we did our best in just trying to see what form of way we could assist him in being part of the traveling contingent. Plus, let's not take it away from him. KB is a basketball person, period. He's a businessman. He was running for even to govern the federation, so his expertise could not go unnoticed. But it was not merely on that he traveled with us. It was more of a guy who just loved what we are doing and obviously wanted to be part of that. And because he has also been an integral part of SA basketball, he understood what it takes for anyone to go and just go represent and lift the national flag. He organizes Masters tournament. So as a master, he brought in that element of just calming the guys and put them at ease in terms of the stage where we are. Remember, Mpumi, none of us as South Africans and even the guys who join us on the imports, have been at this stage. So all the help that we could get in terms of assisting the guys to come down and be themselves under the shining lights of Egypt was more than welcome. And KB played a pivotal part in having him there with the guys as well. So we still control that brotherhood. We still have that element of family. So even if he's in Joburg, so he was not a Cape Townian there. He was mostly a South African. So that's why he was there with us more than anything else. There's no hidden agendas of having him there or any speculations that may go around, but whatsoever. He was just there as a guy who loves basketball and as a guy who supports what's happening in South Africa at the moment with us making history.
Okay, it was good to see him there. So just according to you guys' bio on the website, Tigers was formed in 2019. Was it a completely new registration? And the reason I ask is because, obviously in the basketball spaces, like you mentioned a little bit, rumors that go around. And there's this rumor about Good Hustlers and Cape Town Tigers. Can you clarify that relationship between the two?
I love your questions. I love your way of questioning, Bumi. Bumi, first and foremost, I'm from Cooks, right? I'm sure the basketball community know I'm from Cooks. Anything that has to do with development, growth, and success, and is related to basketball, I'm part of it, irrespective. I don't care who says what. Anything that has to do with Gooks being in a stage where it has never been before, and I'm the reason for that to happen. I'll definitely make it happen because remember, our townships are only getting on the news for the bad parts of it, when people are getting killed, people getting hijacked, and all the negative social ills. So anything that has to do with positivity, anything that has to do with transforming lives, anything that has to do with just bringing peace and tranquility among other humans, I'm always up for it, and I support it 150%. So when Tigers came and asked if they could merely just form an alliance with Cape Town, with Guguletu Hustlers, I was among the first one to say I support this idea. But because I'm from Gooks, but it doesn't mean that I make decisions. It's a community club. It's decisions where are made not only by myself, by the executive. And obviously, we invite the community of Guguletu. If they make any decisions, they have to partake in it because it's a community club. So all in all what transpired between Cape Town Tigers and Guguletu Hustlers, it was something that was agreed upon within the community. And it was only set for a specific time, and that time has elapsed yet. And that's why today that Guguletu Hustlers is standing on its own. That's why Cape Town Tigers is also standing on its own, because it was just an agreement between the two sides to say how can we assist each other in this regard, in just making sure that, we do get ourselves into a position where we can have the team to qualify for the upcoming BAL games. As we are today, we accomplished what we intended to do, and we are going to continue to surprise many with the work and the futuristic projects that we have in mind for the game of basketball in South Africa.
Excellent. So just, now you're saying the two different entities now. So just with regards to Cape Town Tigers, we know that there is, foreign investment in it. In terms of that leadership and Tigers, what was kind of the reason around picking South Africa when there are other African countries who kind of shown themselves to have a different, higher pedigree?
That's a no-brainer, Mpumi. That's a no-brainer. I've just recently came from Egypt, right? Egypt is literally close to Europe, so you'd assume that Egypt is more advanced than your cities in the south of the tip of Africa. But I can safely tell you that when you live in Cape Town, when you have spent time in Cape Town, you know the beauty of what the city brings. You know the first-hand facilities that we possess here in Cape Town. That goes without saying. Anyone who wants usually to invest, if it's not Johannesburg, it is definitely Cape Town. So look at that business perspective first and foremost before you even enter the basketball space. Let alone the beauty that the city presents, Mpumi, and the tourism opportunities that one can just accumulate when and extending. Remember, I always say to this, to people who cares to listen, basketball is bigger than just being on the four corners. If you understand it in a bigger perspective. We have the tourism aspects of it, like I've mentioned. We have the opportunities where we can provide educational purposes, where now kids can be exposed to international competition. We are, exposed to so many things that we can be priding ourselves here in Cape Town. So I'd assume that was probably one of the main reasons that the investors of the team saw fit that they could start a team here in Cape Town. After all, if we are realistic about it, it's still an untapped market when it comes to basketball. So people like Raphael, BJ himself, who has already joined us online listening on this interview, those are, I believe, those are pioneers, in just seeing an opportunity of one that they can start a business, but also uplifting the locals in terms of people now can play the game they love in earning in it. And also people like ourselves as coaches who are given now an opportunity not only to learn on the four corners of the basketball court, but beyond that, Mbumi. And I can safely say, if you are in our position right now, you will definitely feel that we have changed the basketball landscape, whether people like it or not.
Can I just say, you're a great advert for Cape Town, Vince. The way you describe the city and the way you talk about it.
I'm a Capetonian and promote. I'm born and bred in Cape Town. You look at their websites, they will tell you on why. I love this city. I've done a couple of interviews with them because, I'm not only the ambassador for the city, but I always fly the flag high, whether I travel outside the country. I wear my flag on my sleeve, because I really take pride in just representing our hood, our city, our country in a positive light, because like I said earlier on, we always are portrayed in negative ways in so many opportunities that one gets. So if I'm in a position where I could put my country, my city, and my hood in a positive light, I'll always shine the light on it.
So, in terms of Tigers and going forward, are you guys planning on playing in any of the local leagues in this upcoming season?
Yeah. I can safely tell you we have a women's team, we have a junior team, and our intention is also participate in the local league as well. We've been participating. It's not new, Mpumi. Don't read the hype that comes with what's written on Facebook or social media. We've been participating. Otherwise, we would never been able or eligible to qualify if we are not participating in the local league. It is one of the requirements that you have to participate in the local league. So we intend to continue with that, and we've already registered the women's team. We've already registered the juniors team. We've already registered even our senior team to participate in the local league. And we've been in communication with a chairperson of the CDBA as well in terms of sending us messages of support, So all of those things, it's not what you read and hear on the social space. Behind the scenes, when people are not watching, a lot of positive things are happening, but we don't go out and having to justify ourselves and just saying, yes, it's happening, yes, it's not happening. But all we do, we just continue with what we believe is the best to keep putting not only the city on the map, but the entire country. And that's something that I wish most people could take and use that as some of the positives that could highlight our basketball, because it needs it the most, especially now knowing that everyone in the basketball community knows that our federation and our basketball is breathing through the pipes, if it has not been defunct already. But with all these elections taking place and all that, we don't want to crash and put any X on anyone. We open our hands and transparency in asking for anyone who may be able to support, but stay positives in what we are trying to achieve. And that's all we always preach: transparency, and just continuously moving on with how we can promote the game of basketball in Cape Town and also in South Africa.
So just quickly, you talked about things that are on social media and rumors that might exist. Can you walk us through the Tigers way out? There was a lot said about, on different social media platforms about Tigers and how they qualify. Can you walk me through that path for you
guys? That's another easy one, Mpumi. You've seen us. We took part in the district level where it's supposed to be. We took part in the provincial level where it's supposed to. You saw us in Johannesburg. We were there for quite a long time, even came beforehand in trying to prepare for the games. And that's how serious we took them, because we do not take any competition that we go to lightly. We always try to prepare in our maximum, in terms of trying to reach where we're trying to go. So we went into all the qualifying process, your zone 6, until the last end, where where there were a bit of people where they thought, or there was a misunderstanding. I don't know what the hula bar was about, but with people who were there firsthand, we can safely tell you that me personally, I can safely tell you, my room was situated next door behind the players who were sharing from the New Stars team, And I remember the night where, before they tested, these guys were celebrating. Apparently they had a victory the day before, if I'm not mistaken, or just before they got into their rooms. But the way they celebrated, Bumi, I could not really sleep. I had to put on my headphones because but I could not go and tell them that go keep quiet, because they were celebrating their victory, and I could not take that excitement away from them, But when I woke up in the morning with the news that some of them went outside of the bubble that we put in, I understood that it was possible because the way they were making noise, it was not just them speaking. Obviously, there were some sort of drinks that they were having that I can't confirm because I was not there. But all I can tell you that the amount of noise they were making in the next door of my room was the one of people who were just getting themselves in a celebration mood, and the fact that they went outside of their hotel rooms and got tested and became positives in their COVID test, that was a signal to me that I was not surprised, and I one witnessed it. I knew it, that I mean it could not have come in any form of shape if they are the ones who are taking the chances to go out. I can safely tell you there were guys who were sitting, who were monitoring the processes. It could have not have been Tiger saying that we want this to go there each way. I mean, we would not have allowed a player like Miguel not to play. I know Miguel was one of our weapons for the games. So how would we have allowed one of our players to test positive for a virus that we have no control of? So those speculations, those sayings, which were null and void, but I mean, we never took them serious because we had a mission when we went into the competition, and that was we wanted to qualify, and that's what we've always been preaching, that people can continuously focus on us. When we say we're going to do something, why not follow that and say, let's take these guys serious a little bit, because they've said that they will qualify, they've said that they will be involved, and they've done it already. And I believe that most people could have used that element and say, these guys mean business, and we should be taking them on a serious context in this regard.
So you mentioned Miguel, right? We saw between the qualifiers and you guys going to Egypt, in particular, 3 people that were on the squad in qualifiers but weren't in Egypt. Namely Miguel, Toby, and then Chris Gabriel. Can you give us some insight with regard to why those guys weren't with you guys?
All right. Another good question that can more or less clarify anything that has been spread around on social media space. Well, remember, this is a professional sport, right? There are people who will come and go. That goes without saying, whether I like it or not, whether the management likes it or not. People will come and go, especially in a team environment and especially in a professional environment. So before we even went into the next round, people sat and negotiated, and people sat and said, I will sign a contract based on these reasons. And those that did not sign had their specific reasons. I can safely, let's say, speak of Miguel, since we mentioned him as well. Miguel had a working job. Miguel said, I could not sacrifice my contract for this amount of time, because now that means I cannot work for these days and this and that. It was his personal decision at the end of the day. When you go home and given time to sit and analyze the contract, will it be beneficial for you and sustainable for you? Yes or no? You come up and make those decisions with your family, with your agent, with your girlfriend, with whomever that you align with in terms of making a decisions for you. So that process was given to everyone else. And then those who came in and said, I'm satisfied with my contract, I'm putting my signature on the dotted line and move on with the team. And that's exactly what happened. So the players that you mentioned felt that their obligations were not met, or for some reasons, they felt that their negotiations did not go according to how they foresee it. Therefore, they look to take another route. That's as far as I can say, as far as that is concerned. Otherwise, there's still no animosity. I can call Miguel anytime if I want. I can call Chris. I can call Tloki. In actual fact, just messaged me 2 or 3 days ago, sending me a congratulation message. So there's never been a bad blood, but it's always just about being professional and understanding that some of the contracts will abide, some will not abide, some will be happy and some will not be happy. And once that is done, and obviously the ones who wants to move on, continue to move on with the team.
So just with regards to personnel as well, we saw an announcement about Al Harrington coming onto the Star. Can you give some insight with regards to what happened with that?
I mean, we always strive ourselves as Cape Town Tigers that we're not just, yes, we are a South African-based club, Cape Town to be precise, but our expertise, we intend to have them come from different parts of the world. That's the growth that we intend to have with the club. I mean, imagine having an expertise of his quality, a man who's played in a 15, 16-year seasons in the NBA. any other team would definitely want to have someone of his caliber, but unfortunately, because of family commitments and business decisions that he had to make back home, he could not join us. But nonetheless, personally, I would believe that would be a very good move for the team to involve someone like that, as we already see in the players' perspective when we brought in players like Mike Kabongo, Ben Uzo, who have also played and showed their prowess. Having played in the NBA, we saw already what the transition of what it can do to immediately get the players involved in terms of professionalism and also how they conduct themselves. I mean, those guys bring that professionalism in our organization and as part of the setup. So having a big name like A. Harrington here would have added that element of beef up our administration, especially the coaching staff, but it did not materialize. But I'm still certain that in future he will be one of our our coaching staff, because I mean we'll never say no to having someone of his caliber joining our coaching staff.
So when you guys were in Egypt, we saw in the first game that you had two players who went into health and safety protocols, and so weren't eligible for that game. Can you let us in with regards to what happened with that situation?
All right. Well, once again, despite the speculations that were moving around, I mean, if you never get the first-hand information, obviously we'll go with the wind, So what happens is, I mean, when we got into in Egypt, we were told about health protocols, and we were given in finer detail that no players were allowed to go out anywhere, only training and at games with the bus that is organized by the BAL system and the BAL organizers. So when the day came that they saw Billy and the other player roaming around, it was never proven that they went out, but rather the health protocols were not specific in order if they can be able to speak with people inside the hotel or even the staff that works at the hotel. But nonetheless, it was never justified, or it was never seen in any footage that they broke any health protocols. But for safety of anyone who took part, we also felt that it will be good for them just to sit so that it doesn't have to blow out of proportion. And I mean, as far as them going out and spending time, it was never the case. But it was just a matter of taking safe and healthy precautions in saying that if this will help us move on with our games, then so let it be. And we believe that even without Billy Preston or Jamel, we felt and believed that we could have went and gave a good account of ourselves. And we did exactly that, because if you watch the two games that we played, and even the first one that we lost, we literally lost it in the last quarters, or if you say third quarter or fourth quarter, if you want to call it. But I mean, we always in the belief that irrespective of we don't have in our team, we will always go and just give it our best, irrespective who's stepping on the floor. And that's the type of mentality we try to let the guys understand, and we're continuously doing that at this point in time.
Thanks. Okay, so we've gone through the organization, all of that stuff. Let's get into the basketball play itself. How would you describe Cape Town Tigers' brand of basketball?
That's not a difficult one, Bumi. We love the transition style of basketball, where we play. If you can see our lineup, let me start just with the starting five, and then it will give you an idea. We had a guy like Mike Kabongo who runs the floor. He will become your floor general who can penetrate and give easy dishes inside the pocket. And then at number 2 position, we have Evans Kanapamo, a veteran, in his own right, as young as he is, but the way he plays, the maturity that he brings, and the stability that he brings on defense with his long arms. And then at number 3, we have a player we'll put in a Billy, for instance. Billy can qualify as a 3 or a 4. You can see he's tall, but mobile, can dribble the ball, penetrate, score as well. And then at number 4 position, we'll have a player like Nati or interchange with Peter. Those guys who can run the floor, don't only play with their back towards the basket. You didn't see a lot of our players playing with their back towards the basket because we want to play on transition. We want to catch the other team before they set up, but when we also stop to play 5-on-5, we're still able to just match up, but beat you on skill and also just on our team level of high IQ basketball, So those are some of the things that we put in place. That let's play on transition, let's get a rebound, let them catch us on a break, and then from there on, if we play 5-on-5, we still have the skill set that's enough that can take any other team. I mean, Bumi, look at the like for instance, I'll give you a simple practical example, and then you'll be the judge of it. We played our first 2 games against the toughest opposition in Africa, which is Zamalek from Egypt and Petro de Luanda from Angola. Those teams, we went toe to them, Bumi, until at the last end, if it was not the fourth quarter, if you agree with me. And then, mind you, those teams already where we are now speaking, they're playing professional games. We do not have the privilege of playing professional games to prepare. The only game that I can think of in my mind, we played CPUT guys who are all my former old teammates, that I played with at CPUT, probably like 40 or 40 plus, but because they understand basketball and they've been playing for some time, we only ask for a friendly from them. But despite that, we never had a good preparation games like the rest of the teams. But I mean, you give us 3 friendly games, Mbumi, and do you think that we will not have done and done a little bit better than we did? You give us a good training venue, Mbumi. Do you think that we've not given ourselves a chance of winning more games or even by 10 points? You give us a support from the national ministry, Mbumi, in terms of funding, in terms of giving us practice balls. Things simple as practice balls, Mbumi, that a practice ball we only witnessed when we got to Egypt. You're telling us that we would not have given ourselves the chance to qualify or even win those games by 10 points. But now people are not realistic in their assumptions on how they look at the team. They only looked at us when we on the court and I Tigers this, I Tiger that, not with understanding what we have to go through on a daily basis and for us in preparing. I mean, I can safely tell you, as someone who's deeply inside, I was saying this to Coach Rai only yesterday, that we're lucky that we got the training venue to train in Kailicha for our morning skills session 8 till 10. If I could tell you the hustle, Mbumi, and I'm a Coptonian, if I could tell you the hustle that we had to go through just to get that venue for us to be able to be eligible to play, you will probably share a tear or two. And then that's the stuff that we have to go through that we don't report to anyone and people don't get to see that. But I mean, we're not complaining. We only go about and doing our business because we are futuristic. We always putting our eye on the ball, and we're not putting any excuses in place in saying that we don't have a training venue, or we're not getting support from the National Sports Ministry, or Western Cape this and that. We're not going about doing that. All we're doing is stepping on the training court. We give the guys what we think is the right system for us to go and win. When we get into the games, we try to play as hard as possible. When we win, we celebrate as hard as we can with the national flag. When we lose together and adjust ourselves and move on to the next game. And that's what we're continuously doing. And once again, I'm saying all this, Mbumi, to say that irrespective, for instance, with the issue of Billy, people focus on saying, Billy went out, Billy this and that. Why is not even a single person that's raising and saying, but hey, me, where I'm sitting in Soweto, or where I'm sitting in Gooks, or where I'm sitting in Meininberg, I salute Billy, a young kid who's trying to turn his life around and putting my country on the map. And now he's being celebrated in Egypt. But yet, when they speak of Billy, it will never a sentence be finished without mentioning that Billy is playing for Cape Town Tigers and that Cape Town Tigers is from South Africa. Why are we not positive and turn it? Why we don't try to make these negative spin-offs and make them positives, But we at the basketball community are always allowing ourselves to continuously be drained in the negativity, and that is not going to work with us because, I believe individually, we are strong individuals, so it's not easy to break us up, but nonetheless, all we ask is people to continuously look at the positive. Make a practical example once again with the sport like netball. Netball is fast-pacing and outshining basketball in so many ways. Because why? Have you ever seen a netball player that will go online and say, netball is shit, or netball, we don't support this and that, or netball is that? Never. All you see is, I want to be in the next game in Belleville and support the netball series. I want to go to Pretoria and support the netball series, because they understand that when sponsors go and view online in their main websites, they always want to see and be associated with something that's positive. So that's something that I always just want to share with the basketball community, that irrespective of what we have to go through as a team, but whether they like Vincent or not, but they can still support the goodness that's coming out of basketball. Because once again, when we go to Kigali next month, we're not going to say we're just here to represent Cape Town Tigers. They put the Cape Town Tigers, yes, on the fixture, but overall, they put a big South African flag next to it, and that simply means that the entire South African basketball body or the community should be saying that, if we are honest with ourselves, let's support anything that has to do with basketball, especially if it's highlighting our nation in a good light.
Thanks, Vin. So you talked a little bit about your preparation and obviously some of the challenges you had. But how is preparation going for Kigali next month? And what are some of the things you guys are doing in order to get prepared for Kigali?
Well, I can safely tell you, we're training, you know. We got a few bit of niggle injuries. If you know, Nacho Simbanyoni didn't play the last game, you know, because he had to go through an injury. You know, he sprained an ankle while we were having our morning session, so he's still swollen. So we're trying to get him as much as physio as possible. A guy like Evans Kanapamo, he played the last 2 games with a knee injury, so we're giving him a few bit of rest. And our captain Peter Prinsloo, back problems, you know, but continuously he still comes to training and be part of the guys. You know, so all in all, our preparations are going well. We wake up every morning with their training session, 8 to 10, to do the skill work. And right about now, when I drop off this interview, I'm rushing to UCT Sports Center to start our training at 8:30 until 10 o'clock. So we're not shortchanging ourselves, Mpumi. We're working towards our shortcomings. We continuously trying to improve as a organization, not only on the court, but off the court as well. But we always are striving for that greatness, and that's what we always try to share with our fans and anyone who cares to listen.
So you spoke a little bit about Evans, right? We all watched the game 3 buzzer beater that he hit to win the game. What was it like for you being able to see that live? What was the arena like? What was the atmosphere like? What was the locker room like after that great shot?
Wow. I remember actually there was an ESPN journalist who was sitting behind us. He had his footage circulating all over during the BAL tournament because he said, in his own words, in actual fact, I was doing an earlier interview with him. He said he felt that there was something big coming because the score now is 70-70 and it's dying minutes, dying seconds. And he said that, let me take a video of this moment because I feel that there's something big that's coming right now. And then as he started taking the video, and then Jamel, I remember making the spin move, making that bounce pass to Evans. As soon as he put that ball up, I was on my way to change room, Bumi. I was sprinting to change room, right? I was going to get my national flag, you know. I was going to get South African national flag. I knew it in the air that there's 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10 chances of that ball going in, because at training, I rebound for that boy every day. We even make bets, you know, we just kid around it and saying that how many shots he's going to make in a day and things like that. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot the. Are you cheering now or are you shedding tears? So I knew as soon as that ball left his hand, you know, that, I mean, this guy is going to take us to where we needed to be. Even the qualifiers, when we lost against the team from Mozambique, Beira, if there's anyone that I will still give that shot to, even though he missed the last shot, I will still give it to him because I know how much effort he puts on his shot and how much he works on it on a daily basis. so that you can get us those 3 points when we need them the most. So it was a good feeling for me. I went to the change room for me to get that national flag once again, and I still remember very well when Peter Prinsloo was doing an interview for one of the worldwide online magazines. I put the flag around his chest so that these guys can also once again understand the magnitude of why we're playing in such big stages and big arenas. It's only because we are playing for those 59 million South Africans and the rest that love basketball in the basketball community.
So I'm going to say we're all big fans of Evans on the podcast, but I'm going to use the opportunity to give Flippy a shout out. She's a massive Evans fan.
Just repeat that, sorry.
Oh, I said I'm going to take the chance to give Flippy a shout out. She's part of our team on the podcast, and she's a huge fan of Evans. So shout out to Flippy.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very good guy, just in general. You know, I mean, you can follow him on events. He's just continuously proven us on what professionalism is about. You know, very not shy, but I would say quite soft-spoken guy. But when it comes to taking care of business, he's always there firsthand. He's one of the guys who at training he speaks with the South African contingents and just trying to show them the ropes, you know, because he's played in Paris, he's played, you know, in many big stages that he has shown already through his immense talent, you know, but we still believe we can have a lot that we can take up out of him. Because as an athlete, you know, we believe that he can give us more of what he's giving us at this point in time. And with time, and we're hoping that it's going to show Mpumi. And we definitely thank everyone who supports not only events, but the entire team. And we obviously
So I have just 2 more questions for you. The first one is, can we expect any roster changes going to Kigali?
I mean, we went to Kigali. I mean, in Egypt, we saw our shortcomings. We felt there are a few room for improvements, and one of our star players, Jimel Attest, I'm not sure if you witnessed it in the game. In the last game, he had to be subbed out because he had something that came out of his foot, you know. So those are probably some of the forced changes that we'll have to make in ensuring, but it has not been confirmed yet. So I don't want to get out the cat out of the bag yet. But once all the new changes are done, I mean, we always announce it on air. You know, that, I mean, we're making these changes so that people can ask us why or who's coming and all that stuff, because we believe once again in being transparent and obviously keeping in line with trying to be accountable, you know, for the basketball masses, because, I mean, like I said, we're not doing this for just us and our egos and being there. We're doing it for the basketball community. So if there's an opportunity where people can ask questions now, or they send me personal DMs, as long as it's going to be strictly professionals and not asking for love, you know, that I can always provide my information, you know, because Coach Ra always says, Coach Reltin always says, I'm always saying it, Coach Olvis as part of the coaching staff has always said that we open out there for people to just come and share anything that they believe is worth sharing, or ask questions that they believe they want to know about the team. And we're always willing to give answers. And hence I am right here now on Fast Break SA, and obviously just grateful for the opportunity that we can be able to speak from our side of things. You know, we always hear from people's side of things. If we get a chance where we can speak from our side, we explain the situations as they happen or the way they are, and then that's best for us. So yeah, I'm grateful to you, Mpumi, for just giving me this platform, and shout out to all the people who are logged in right now and giving us and showing love. You know, I know a lot of people love basketball, and I hope that they've learned a lot today, or if not, they can probably, if they still have questions, like I said, the channels are open, and we're hoping that they can go to the Cape Town Tigers page ask and shoot whatever they want, or even go on my personal account, as long as they're not expressing love, as long as they're not asking for me to send the hearts back, then I'll definitely give them on the 411 what's happening in terms of what's happening in the Tigers camp.
I appreciate that so much, Vincent. I really appreciate your time. I think that we're big fans of the Cape Town Tigers, and we really appreciate the time that you've taken out to come here and speak to us, clarify a few things, but also really let us into your circle in terms of what happens as Tigers. So just to repeat that, my last question really had to do with how do they get a hold of Cape Town Tigers? What's the best way if someone wants to get in touch with you guys?
What's the best way to get in touch with us?
Yeah.
Oh well. We can either be to our public relations. We do have a public relations that Roscoe, who always advertises, is probably gonna put another advert now for another game that we're gonna be having, just as a goodbye to the Cape Town masses. Or either to our general manager or assistant general manager, Elvis, is open, and the protocols are like that, or even go through Coach Relton, who's also more than willing to ask or answer any questions or just give answers. Even myself, I've said earlier, Coach Ra has been on many ways posted on different platforms as well, telling people on how he's willing to ask any questions. So either or, but it depends on the person whom they want to speak with, in terms of just getting the answers that they need. But the protocol requires that they go to our PR team. If not, they can go to our general manager. And I've said that I'm here also as a basketball custodian. I've always been available to ask any questions that had to do with clarifying and giving clarity and understanding that has to do with anything basketball. Whether you can call as soon as it just happened or wait for a week, it doesn't matter. We don't just believe in gossip or just what people always try to spread as negative rumors. But nonetheless, as I said earlier on, those are things that actually help us to mold us into this brotherhood that we are trying to build as a team. And it's not easily going to be breaking away in Bumi, that I can tell you, irrespective of what people say or write. But we continuously move towards the direction that we have set ourselves in. And once again, I say to anyone who bets against us, we have said way before lockdown, we have said way before that Cape Town Tigers will be the team that dominates Southern African basketball. And right now, me and you can agree that's the case right now. We have put and said that we will qualify for BAL, and no one gave us a chance. We played in BAL, no one gave us a chance, and here we are right now in the top 8. And I'm safely telling you right now, our aim is also going to the top 4 with the ultimate thought patterns of working hard until we lift that trophy and make history for South Africa. You betting us, not doing it, that's against at your own peril. But nonetheless, we know what we work in, we know what we put in, we know the amount of effort that we put in trying to achieve what we put and set ourselves into. So we are at that quest right now, and we're continuously going towards that greatness. So shout out to you guys for once again giving us that platform where we can give ourselves a good account of ourselves and also speak on what's happening in the camp from the horse's mouth. No two ways. Anything that you get right now from me is things that are happening in the camp, and there's no other report that can go and be out of that or close to that. It's straight from the horse's mouth, and I'm definitely sure that my players, my coaching staff would definitely support 100% on what I just said right now.
Thank you, Vincent. Really appreciate your time. Just last question. How do we get Cape Town Tigers merchandise? How do we get jerseys? Where can we find them?
That's another very good question for me. How do I get this off? It's Can you see me? Can you hear me? So what the intention is? The intention is we're gonna open up pop-up stores. We're gonna open online stores where we will sell Cape Town Tigers merchandise. But at this point in time, we have not had that set up yet because we wanna do it not because we're just doing it for the sake of it. We wanna, when we do it right, and know that it serves the cause. Because I mean, as much as we are a new organization, but in terms of how we're approaching anything, we're trying to do it as professional as possible. So I can safely say to all the fans, to all people who are asking on when we're going to have the Tigers merchandise, just to be a little bit patient with the team. And when that stuff is available, we will do it proper, deliver to make sure that people get the quality of the material that we'll be selling. And now we're just trying to ensure that we're focusing on the four corners of the basketball, still not taking our eyes off on what's happening off the court, irrespective with the merchandise and all the other regalia. It is going to happen. It's only a matter of time, because we know that we have created that support all over South Africa now, and we would like to wish, when we play at these stages, that people are wearing our gear, and it's gonna come. So that I can safely say, people can just be a little bit patient with us, and when we bring it, it's definitely gonna be quality stuff that everyone will be proud of to wear and represent the black and white jerseys of the Cape Town Tigers.
Thanks, Vince. Have a good evening. We'll see you in Kigali.
Thank you very much, Mbumi. Once again, I'd like to take this time to send a shout out to all the people that tune in. Thank you guys for the continuous support. So may you go support as well the Cape Town Tigers page, where you can get the latest of what's happening, or simply just go on my individual page, Vincent Ntunja, available on Instagram, Facebook, where you can just once again learn anything that's happening. And next week, Saturday, we're going to have a game in Cape Town where we're going to play just a mixture of guys from the city. And we're inviting anyone who loves the game of basketball to come through to UCT 7 o'clock next week, Saturday, where we'll be just camping and promoting our guys, and also just once again saying goodbye to the people of Cape Town, because that's how much we care about them. We're not doing this for us. We're doing it for the entire city and for the entire country. So once again, thank you very much, Mpumi, for the time and giving me this platform.